Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the America House virtual floor. We're so happy to see you on this tremendous day, the 9th of March, which is one day after International Women's Day. And today we have a very special event with some very special guests. Tonight we'll be having a very exciting talk and musical performances from USAFE Band, which is the United States Air Force in Europe band. USAFE Band has shared their talents, music, and leadership with audiences worldwide across the continents of Europe and Africa. And also they have shared all of their experience with Ukraine as well, touring Zaporizhia, Kiev, Lviv, among other countries where they have not only performed, but shared their knowledge through master classes. Throughout the evening, we'll be taking your questions and sending your hellos and your remarks to our airmen who are based in Europe. So without further ado, please welcome Technical Sergeant Justin Lucas in Germany, and I'm passing the floor to you. Hello, USAFE Band.
Lucy, thank you so much for having us.
So happy to have you. Hello.
Well, good evening, America House. Good evening, Kyiv. Good evening, Ukraine, and to all of those tuning in from other places. We are excited to be online with you. I'm Technical Sergeant Justin Lucas, oboist with the USAFE Band. And we are streaming to you live from our home base in Ramstein, Germany. We're going to be playing some music for you this evening, but we'd also like to take this opportunity to recognize and honor International Women's Day. So we have compiled a panel of our colleagues, musicians, women, U.S. Air Force service members, to help answer your questions and to lead us in a discussion. So I will provide some introductions. Here on bassoon, we have Technical Sergeant Sarah Gehring. She is from Springfield, Ohio. She loves horses and she is a hobby knitter. And I might say that she is pretty amazing at it. On the clarinet, we have Senior Airman Da Tang. He is an NBA basketball fan, and he originally comes from Chengdu, China, which is also the home of the only wild panda bears. So now let's go online to our panel. First, we have Master Sergeant Susan Govier. Susan, can you hear me?
Hi, Justin. Hi, everyone.
Hi,
I'm Master
welcome.
Sergeant. Thank you so much. I'm Master Sergeant Susan Govier. Now you can just call me Susan. That would certainly be fine. I'm from Lakewood, Colorado, and I'm a clarinet player here with the USAFE Band. And this year is an exciting year for me because I will have hit my 20th year anniversary within the Air Force, and that's super exciting. I can't believe it's been 20 years, and it certainly doesn't feel that long. I can say that easily because time has just flown by because I get to do something which I enjoy and something that I love to do, which is performing. On a personal note, I come from a musical family. My mom plays piano. My twin sister plays trombone, who is also in an Air Force band. So that's been really great. And one of my favorite things to do here in Germany is to find new and exciting trails to explore with my dog, Rusty.
Great, thank you. And welcome, Technical Sergeant Shane Stanky. Can you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Justin, thank you. Yeah, I too am also from Colorado, Littleton, Colorado, and I am the staff arranger here at the band. I write and arrange music for the band for any sort of instrumentation that we might need, say a woodwind trio or a clarinet trio or an entire concert band. I too will actually be reaching my 20th year anniversary in the Air Force, and I'm actually going to retire from the Air Force. So I'm really looking forward to that in the future. I really love my job in the Air Force. I love writing music. I love the variety of music that I get to write, everything from pop music to classical music to jazz. It's never a dull moment here. And that's it. So hi, everybody.
Great, thank you. Okay, Senior Airman Sarah Casano, would you mind telling everybody a little something about you?
Hi, my name is Senior Airman Sarah Cosano, and I'm originally from Idaho. I joined the Air Force very late, so I've only been in about 4 years, but I am 38 years old and I just had my first child this year. Before joining, I did a lot of work in the industry. I've done about 10 contracts on cruise ships, international hotel gig. I also finished my doctorate before joining.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I'll have to say it is a pleasure to work with you. These great, fine professionals. And I would also like to say that really every day is a good day to celebrate and honor the contributions that women bring to all the aspects of our lives, whether at home or in the workplace or in any capacity. So please hit us up on the chat with your questions. And in the meantime, we're going to play the first movement of the trio by Georges Ulrich for oboe, clarinet, and bassoon, and it is titled Decide.
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much. Wow. We're getting our first comments in, and Brett Kirby is saying, beautiful sounds. Thank you for putting this event together. And I absolutely agree. Wow, it's such a treat just to have this very special performance. Perhaps maybe, Susan, can you tell me how often do you do these kinds of events lately, just because you're not traveling so much? Perhaps, yeah. Hi, welcome.
Hello. We're just starting to do more of these live stream performances, I believe. This is kind of a new technology for us. We had switched over to doing more kind of recordings and pieces where we would do a music recording, and then we would do a video production as well and put those together. But I think we're trying out this live stream option now and finding it's helping us reach more people. And so I think we've got some more of these planned in the future, and we're excited to keep trying this out.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Still, it's honestly, it's so special, even though we can't see each other in the flesh, that you're not touring Ukraine right now, but it's still so great. Thank you. We're getting another comment from Craig. Such a nice soundtrack to work from home by. I absolutely agree with all of us working from home. What is something that you listen to while you work? Although you probably play music while you work, so that might not be super applicable to you.
Yeah, well, a lot of my work from home is playing music, that's for sure. But there's always new music to listen to. Some of the orchestras back home have been doing some great streaming performances, or just streaming some of their recordings from past years, and I've been loving digging into that. And then I'm kind of a bluegrass fan as well from my years when I lived in Tennessee. So I've been kind of reaching back and listening to a little bit of that just for fun as well.
Wow, great recommendations. Definitely going to try to listen to some of that on my own. And we also have a fun comment from Megan Jankowska. No questions, but cheering on my awesome coworkers. So lucky to work with you. I think that's just so sweet, and it's so important to remember all the time, but especially around International Women's Day, just how important it is to support each other and have men supporting women and women supporting women and women supporting men. Just something to keep in mind. But in terms of coworkers, yes, perhaps one of you could tell me what it is. Like, what does an actual work day look for an airman, and what does the job entail necessarily? Perhaps maybe Susan Govier would be able to answer.
Sure, I'd be happy to. Well, as Air Force bandsmen here in Europe, our job is to bring people and cultures together through our music. And we have about 48 members in our unit that make up 8 different performing ensembles of varying size. And we travel throughout Europe and Africa, covering a total of 104 different nations. And we play all different kinds of exciting music with a wide variety of style, to include classical, traditional, jazz, and music is fun. We have our larger groups, which comprise of the concert band, the marching band, the jazz band. And out of those larger groups, we can break down into smaller sized ensembles. We have our Dixieland group, our rock band, brass quintet, woodwind quintet, clarinet quartet, and as you see today, woodwind trio. And what our typical day is like is rehearsals in the morning, and then what we have in the afternoon is normally what we call our administrative jobs. So those are jobs that help the unit, the band, to function. So that would be what a normal day like is for us.
Thank you so much. And Susan, congratulations on 20 years. Wow, that's really amazing.
Thank you so much. It's very exciting.
And Susan, maybe how has your job changed? You know, what did it look like 20 years ago, and what does it look like today?
That's a really great question. I think when I first started out in the Air Force, you know, you have that fresh perspective, and you've just been hired to do this amazing job, which is performing music. and you're so excited. And as a younger ranking person coming in, it's just really nice to have so many performing opportunities available to you. And I think I've found as I've made my way up the ranks a little bit and had some years under my belt, that it's become maybe more about some administrative tasks that help the band to function or leading groups, but it's all still related to music. And it's very rewarding experience to see how everyone's jobs within the unit help the band to function.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. That must be such a great and interesting perspective to have and share with kind of your younger coworkers.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Perhaps maybe Sarah Cassano can tell us then. I know that she's a bit a bit younger, I would say, a bit newer to the Air Force. So Sarah, could you please tell us, like, what was the process like of joining the United States Air Force Band?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, in the beginning, it's kind of you're going through the hurdles for the military itself, and you're also going through musical hurdles. So the way that we operate in the Air Force Band is when we have an opening, we advertise it, and we're hiring people for an opening. And so we'll have an audition, but before people can come to the audition, they do need to go to their recruiter and get pre-screened for some medical stuff and, general background and history. And once they've passed that pre-screening, then we bring them into an audition. And I forgot to mention, you send in tapes and then they get invited to audition. And if you win the job, then the next step is to start thinking about when you're going to be going to basic military training. Because all of us do go there. We have a couple months in basic military training. And then once that's accomplished, then we are sent to our station. We don't have a technical school like some of the other services do, because by winning that audition, that qualifies us to have that level. We call it the 3 level. And that's enough to start working in your job right away.
Wow. And you have kind of the military training, yes. Is there any kind of other training that you have to go, or maybe something related to music as well? Or do you have kind of courses as you go along?
So every branch of service is a little bit different. Mm-hmm. So all I know is the Air Force. A huge majority of us actually do have degrees before we enter, and usually it's in music. At my last base, I think we'd figured out about 80% or so of us had masters in music, and then most everybody, I only knew 2 people in our last squadron that didn't have a bachelor's in music, and actually we had 3 people with doctorates at my previous squadron.
Oh, wow. Do you get any special benefits if you're a doctorate? If you have a doctorate?
No, we just start out like everybody else as an airman. The only officers in the Air Force are the conductors, so we all come in as enlisted. Mm-hmm. And then once we're in, of course, there's upgrade training, there's playing tests, there's administrative duties and things specific to the band that you'll, every couple of years you'll need to pass to go to the next level.
Mm-hmm. Thanks so much, Sarah. I guess that I would probably ask Shane Stanke my next question as kind of the senior person, and also congratulations on almost being there at retirement. I guess it's going to be soon. Are you looking forward to settling down? Because I take it that you travel and relocate quite a lot as part of your job.
Yes, unfortunately, my husband is also in the band, and he has chosen not to retire at this time. So we'll probably move another 2 times before we finally settle down.
That's where would you want to go after? Back to Colorado, perhaps, or somewhere else?
I would love to go back to Colorado. Unfortunately, I don't think that's in the cards for us. We might end up in Illinois or Texas. Mm-hmm. Wherever's fine. We love to explore.
Yeah, and Shane, maybe you have like a favorite place where you've toured, because I know that USAFE band has been all over Europe and all over Africa. Maybe you have a soft spot for somewhere that you've been.
As I would love to answer that question, as the arranger, I actually don't go anywhere.
Really?
I work behind the scenes. I stay at home, I answer the phones, you know, and I write music for people, and then I send it off to them. My husband travels a lot, though.
That was actually my next question. So, does the band, well, I take it now that you write and you arrange the music, but how much original music do you actually write and perform as part of the band? And do band members bring in their own pieces and say, "Hey, let's play this one. What do you think?"
Oh, definitely, definitely. We have a lot of very talented people, so I'm not the only one in the band that actually will do some arranging, especially as there are some people that are better at, say, jazz than I am, so they'll do their own jazz arrangements. We do write original music, although more often than not, our audiences want to hear something that's American or something that they've heard on the radio before, or something, you know, some Glenn Miller maybe that they associate with America. So a lot of our stuff is mostly stuff that we just arrange for our various groups, but we do also have the opportunity to write some of our own stuff.
We have a question from Irene Gerasimenko. Does music interfere with your service in any way? Maybe you can comment on this. So I take it that music is actually part of your service. That's one of the ways how you perform your duties for the United States Air Force, correct?
Yes, music is our reason for serving, and it is how we serve, by building bridges and partnerships and friendships wherever they want to send us, like with Ukraine. That is our service, and that is how we serve. So it actually goes hand in hand with our service.
Excellent. Yeah, I completely get why Sarah said that this was such a dream job for many, that you actually, you get to serve your country by doing something that you're so passionate about, and, get to share with the entire world, actually. Yeah. Yes. Super. And perhaps Sarah Gehring could help me out with my next question. So Sarah, you're a bassoonist with USAFE. That's quite an unusual instrument, actually, for those who might not be too familiar with orchestral music. So what do you look for in a bassoon? And could you please tell us a little bit more about this instrument?
Yeah, so I'll start off by saying that I've been congratulated for my oboe playing a lot more than my bassoon playing over the years. And I say that because for some reason there's a big misconception among people. They see the bassoon and they think it's the oboe for some reason. It's just not that well known of an instrument because it's usually not the soloist. But the bassoon is the bass voice in the orchestral wind section. And it's really responsible for a lot of the color and the character that you hear. You may not hear it playing the melody line, but if you took the bassoon out of a lot of pieces, you would really just be missing that color that it adds. And so we really are important. And then as far as what I'm looking for in a bassoon, really just evenness throughout the instrument, I think. The bassoon, more so than some of the other woodwinds that are a little further along in their development, still has tendencies for individual notes to stick out in the scale. And so when you're looking for a bassoon, it's nice to find one that everything is very even and lies very straight as you're playing it.
So thank you so much, Sarah. We have another comment from Heba Abdal. I love that. Music is our service. And Sarah, maybe you could share, at what point in your life, in your career, did you join the Air Force? Because I know that a lot of you have musical backgrounds and you've either taught or played or traveled as part of other musical ensembles. Like, how did that work out for you?
Yeah, so for me, I went to music school and then I spent about 3 years working in repair, actually. And then life happened for me, as it can from time to time. And there was an Air Force bassoon audition happening, and I decided to try to get my chops back up real quick and take it and just see what happened. And here I am today. It was I thought my life was falling apart at that time, just with the things that had happened before I knew about the audition. But it turned out to be the best thing that's happened in my life so far. And I'm so happy and thrilled and proud to be here today with you all.
Thank you so much. It's so actually great to hear that people come to the United States Air Force Band from all walks of life and under all kinds of different circumstances. And I think that definitely adds to the diversity of your musical flavor and all of the viewpoints that come together and is shared from the United States with the wider world. It's truly beautiful. And we actually have a comment from Denise. The band is fabulous. The USAFE ambassadors came to Trieste, Italy in summer 2012. I wish you could travel again, and I'm sure that I completely agree, and I'm sure that you would like to travel again as well.
Yes, very much so.
Thank you. And perhaps, so you mentioned the audition process, and maybe Susan Govia can help out us here. What advice would you give to students preparing to audition for United States Air Force Band? Like, are there any tips and tricks that you would recommend?
Practice, practice, and yes, more practicing. It takes a lot of work, but it's a great process and it's really fun. And it's just, really learn the fundamentals, the basics of music. So learn those scales and the arpeggios and really get those in your fingers, because all music is really created from those basic things. I would also suggest performing audition material in front of your peers and your teachers, because the more you perform in front of others, the easier it gets.
Absolutely. And I think that right now during the pandemic, it's a perfect time to actually, try out performing from home and recording yourself, because that's actually how the audition tapes get done, right? Correct? You film yourself, you send them in, and then do you fly in for audition, or how was it done in the past, not now necessarily?
Well, in the past, when I was back in the United States, we would have people either come drive in or fly in, depending on where they were located, for a live audition. And yes, that would take place after the taped round.
Mm-hmm. Super. Susan, you also mentioned that you have a dog, correct?
I do. I have a dog named Rusty. He's amazing. Dogs make everything better, and he's a golden doodle.
Super. Did you pick him up during your travels somewhere, or did you bring him in from the US?
I brought him over from Colorado.
Super.
I haven't actually been here in Germany that long. I've only really been here for about a year, and last February I just got moved in March, then the COVID took over and things started shutting down. But Rusty and I have had a lot of good experiences out on the trails and exploring different castles.
Yeah. What about when you travel? Do you have like a dog kennel at the Air Force Base? Someone who looks after your dogs? Or you probably haven't necessarily experienced that, but maybe what do people with their dogs do?
I haven't had to do that yet, but there are lots of kennels that are close to the Air Force Base here, as well as I think there are some individuals in the band who like to help out with taking care of folks as pets while they're gone.
That's so great. Yeah, helping out community, so important. Here as well, we have a lot of diplomats who also come with their pets, and everyone helps out when they can. And actually, Megan, your colleague, is saying that Rusty is a good boy, and Heba is saying that he is. So I see that we have a lot of fans of Rusty the dog.
Well, I will be sure and tell him that.
Absolutely. And probably my next question will be to Sarah. So Sarah, you said that you just had a baby. So are you traveling with your husband? Is he a part of the band as well?
Yes, actually in this panel, so we call it mill to mill. So myself and Sergeant Stanky, we're both married to somebody in the band. I've actually been married though more than 10 years. To him. He's a guitarist. I met him working on cruise ships, and he's actually from Argentina.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we were just freelancing and traveling a whole bunch, and it just didn't feel a stable enough life to be taking care of a child. And now that we've been here and things have settled down and we're getting a bit older, we said, you know what, we need to do this.
Yeah, seems like a good opportunity. So did you both apply at the same time and were just super lucky to be accepted at the same time, or was someone first? How did that work?
He auditioned first. Actually, I don't know if this might interest some people, but so we were married and he had a green card. And he was eligible for citizenship, but he hadn't completed that yet because it was kind of expensive for us to fill out the paperwork. Mm-hmm. And so, and I think things still remain this way. He auditioned for the band and he got hired. And then after that happened, he had a certain amount of time where he needed to get U.S. citizenship and renounce his country's citizenship. Mm-hmm. So that's like kind of a side note. But he got in about a year and a half before I did. And I was living like 7 hours away, so we were commuting back and forth while I finished school. And then I auditioned after him.
It's so great that you now have the opportunity to be together and travel together, which I know can be very difficult for working musicians, especially those that tour. And you, Sarah, in particular, you've had such a kind of varied career in life. So you've worked on the cruise ships, so you have a lot of performing, but also teaching. You teach as well, correct? Do you still teach?
Right before I left, I had a whole studio of middle school students that I was teaching. But since moving here, it's been quiet, because we just want to fill out the area and the job and everything. And we want to travel with our free time as much as we can.
Absolutely, yes. Oh, and we're actually getting a comment from Heba asking if there's going to be any more music today. And actually, yes, there is. We do have some planned. And actually, if Justin and Sarah over there, if they're ready to show us the second movement for their performance, perhaps we can go to them and see how they're doing and listen to some more beautiful music.
Yes, we'd love to. Next, we'll be performing the second movement of this trio, and this is the Romance.
So thank you. We have a special guest. Everyone, the boss just arrived, so please give her your virtual applause. Please welcome the commander of the United States Air Forces in Europe Band, Lieutenant Colonel Christina Moore-Urrutia.
Well, hello, everyone. Oh my goodness, what a pleasure it is to be here. Thank you, Justin, for the introduction. Thank you to our friends, the Embassy in Kyiv, for hosting this event. What a pleasure it is to be here with you all. I just want to say, first of all, just to all of the people that are watching, thank you for tuning in. We are honored to be able to represent our friends in the United States Air Force, who continue to build relationships with our friends all over the world, and no less there in Kyiv. And especially here on International Women's Day, to be able to represent all of the women who've gone before in our armed services, and to be able to say thank you to them for all the service that they have done. We stand on their shoulders for sure. I happen to be one of the few women commanders of the Air Force Band that have gone in my path. I'm the only woman commander right now, even though we have had others in the past. It's rare. We have a privilege to be able to serve in this capacity. And I am thrilled to be able to represent them. So thank you for hosting us and for sharing our just all the successes of women over the last, 100 years that we've been celebrating International Women's Day. But of course, women in the military is something that hasn't been nearly as long. So what a privilege it is to represent them.
Christina, thank you so much. Hello and welcome to the America House virtual floor. It's truly great to see you and to hear your beautiful words. And also congratulations on your achievement and the achievement of your fellow women colleagues. Yes, absolutely. Even here in Ukraine, we do have women, service women, but it's still a rarity. But absolutely, we can always see how much they bring to their service and appreciate it so deeply. I have a couple of questions for you, but I'd also like to just to remind the audience that they're more than welcome to send in their questions and their comments, perhaps some lovely memories from meeting USAFE when they were traveling through their countries and cities. And I'll be happy to pass them along. But meanwhile, Christina, so you're the conductor, you're the leader of the USAFE
Yes.
band, but you are also kind of, as far as I understand your role, you're the lead on strategic engagement of people through your music. So you do have a lot on your plate. Could you please share, what is your leadership philosophy?
Well, I think all of us as leaders have a slightly different nuance to this, but for me, what I kind of hold as my rock is service. Service is number one, and then teamwork. I think you learn early on as a commander, as a conductor, even more so, that your stick doesn't make any noise. So you've got to have a team to be able to bring the whole package together. And so it's the same in leadership. You know, we work together as a team. So we're here to serve. We serve our nation first and foremost. And we also serve those who we come in contact with throughout the world in bringing that message of friendship. So service and then certainly teamwork.
Thank you so much. Absolutely, teamwork is something that we deeply value at America House as well. And we have this great comment from John. Music is their service, actually, for many of them. Traveling to perform for different troop spaces increase morale and culture. It's an important part of the military. So, Christina, were you a musician first or an officer first?
I was a musician first, for sure. That started when I was very little. When I was 6 years old, I started with piano lessons, and then at 10 years old with horn lessons. And I didn't really start conducting until seventh grade. Got my first taste of it, but I was always looking up at those, those role models. My role model, Harry McNeese, my band teacher, was really my inspiration to become a conductor. And so certainly I was a musician long before I was ever in the military.
Wonderful. We also have a comment from Lisa Armour. Hi, Christina. We're watching you all and so proud of you and miss you. Thank you all for serving.
Thank you very much. It's good to hear from family.
Yeah, especially when everyone is all over and can't get to each other easily these days. Absolutely. My other question is, there was such a beautiful piece that we just heard. How do you choose the repertoire for USAFE?
Sure. Each group chooses its own repertoire, and it's really determined by, what is the effect we want to create? What is the ambiance, right, that you want to help to create by your musical performance. And so maybe it's a celebration of sorts. So you might have more upbeat music. Sometimes we have to, unfortunately, we deal with memorial services as well, honoring those who have passed, who have served. And so then we have the great honor of playing taps. And so that would be something very specific for an event. But each of it is determined by the group and by the event itself. So we have lots of options, and we always like to play music from the country that we're visiting. So we try to find something that is near and dear to your hearts as well when we're traveling.
Thank you. That's so beautiful. I know that in Ukraine, always everyone appreciates hearing the influence in the interpretations of musicians that visit. And we have a comment from Elżbieta Konarska, beautiful words, service, and teamwork. I must say that it does really come through in your beautiful performance, but also in your speech. Absolutely. I agree 100%. And also from Stella Urrutia-Moore, Lieutenant Colonel, what is your background? You spoke a little bit already about that, but perhaps you could expand and share a bit more.
Well, so I come from a family that is a wonderful mix. I'm Hispanic, so my mom came from Chile, from South America, and met my father in Nebraska. That's where I was born and raised, in Nebraska. And my dad's side of the family is from Sweden. So we've got the pretty much all the hemispheres covered between our family backgrounds. And I grew up in Nebraska and went to college at the University of Nebraska in Lincoln with my bachelor's degree and my master's there. And so from there, I joined the Army. I actually started in the Army as a horn player, and did that for 8 years before I became an Air Force officer and joined the conducting career field. So yeah, I have family all over the United States, but also in South America, and I miss them all very much. And so it's wonderful to be able to represent them as I travel as well.
Wow, it's so great to hear this kind of truly diverse background, but I'd say that it's probably the most American thing of them all, honestly. Everyone is just such a mix of the entire world and coming together and working together. I have another question. In addition to giving concerts and connecting with foreign audiences, bringing them American, and bringing America to them, what are your favorite things to do while on a tour? Maybe you have some fun rituals that you do as a team, or maybe just by yourself.
Well, I think we all do different things, so I'll just speak for myself. What I love is just to see a little bit of the culture and the nature. I love getting out into the country and the countryside, meeting the people. I think for me is one of the best things. So you combine that, meeting them at the concerts, and combine that with seeing the beautiful countryside and the varied countries, that we visit. It's really special.
That's so interesting to hear. I know that everyone has their own little thing. How much alone time do you actually get on tour? Do you ever have the chance to kind of sneak away for just a cup of coffee or just a walk on your own while you're on tour?
It really depends. We're focused on work, right? So the majority of our time is really taken up by our rehearsals and performances. But there are times when we get a little bit of a window of opportunity to get out and about a little bit, and that's what I really enjoy. And oftentimes the embassy is so helpful in that, helping us to get a taste of the country. They'll give us some good advice on where we should go.
Wonderful. have another comment. Your Uncle John and I are very proud of you, Christina, and I look forward to seeing you sometime soon. We love you.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
So,
indeed. Miss them all.
yes. Oh, no, it's so lovely to be able to connect you a little bit with your family as well.
It's true.
Another comment from Lorene. Best conductor I've seen, right up there with Gustavo Dudamel. I hope I'm pronouncing that.
Well, my
correct.
goodness. Thank you very much. And, you know, I'm waiting for him to ask me to do a joint concert. So maybe you can work that out, Lorene.
Wonderful. A question from Heba. Ma'am, is there an experience that you've had while being a commander in Europe that really moved you personally?
Oh my goodness. There are so many. I think for me, connecting with the children is one of my favorite things that we do, whether it's in educational outreach or maybe performing at an orphanage or something like that. Those are really, really precious moments, being able to see them light up as we share music with them, seeing how they might be able to understand a little bit more about an instrument. The questions that they have are always so exciting. And then just, you know, building those relationships, right? Being a representative of the country. This might be the only military person that they know from the United States. And so that's one of the privileges that we have is to, you know, show them maybe a different side of the military and really get the that personal side for them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's so lovely to see your passion coming through. And I'm not the only one that has noticed. We have another comment from Larissa Iliana. It's so great to see those women who found themselves serving their country in this way, and to see them being absolutely happy and proud. Thank you for this meeting.
Wonderful. We are very honored to be able to join you today. And on this day, you know, it's so important being able to recognize the accomplishments of women. But also, I'm just so thrilled that I can work for an organization that values the leadership and the different perspective that women provide. That's so important.
Absolutely. One more last comment from Lisa. Your nieces are loving seeing you live. Hello from there in New Orleans.
Hello. Love you all very much.
Hello, Lisa. It's so great to see everyone tuning in from all parts of the world. And Yulia Volodina says that, yes, music is a door to a different, amazing world. And I'm loving this world that we have going on right now in our little virtual connection.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you so much, Christina, for joining us. I have a couple more questions to your colleagues and fellow airwomen or airmen. What would be the...
Airmen is we're all airmen. We're all part of one family. So thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And I have a question for Sarah Cassano. So Sarah, additionally to teaching, you've also written a dissertation. Is that correct?
Yes.
Could you share a little bit what it's about?
That's a dangerous question to ask somebody who has a doctorate. Actually, I'm quite proud of it. So when I met my husband, I went down to Argentina, and I've been trained in jazz music and classical music. And I went down there and I tried to play tango music, and it just wasn't right. We were sitting there in the living room, and his friend was sitting there listening to me, and he's just like, something's not right about the way that sounds. And it became kind of a passion of mine. So my doctorate there's about 4 saxophone quartets written in the tango style. Some of them were arranged, but they were originally by Astor Piazzolla. And my doctorate kind of explains the history behind them and gives a playing guide and some suggestions on how to approach it.
Oh, thanks so much. It's just so interesting to see that other side of music as well, additionally to just performing and teaching.
Right. Well, and just a little plug, I'm really excited about this. When I first did the dissertation, you had to pay to get it, and I didn't feel like anybody was really reading it. Mm-hmm. So last fall, I said, go ahead and open it up, make it available for free to everybody. My university put it up in their digital library. And since January, I've had 99 downloads in 47 countries of the dissertation. So
Wow. So if you're in Ukraine, you can also go and check it out and read a little bit more about it.
Yep, this is available for free through the University of Nebraska-Lincoln.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sarah. I actually see that it's time for our last piece of the night. So going back to Justin Lucas in your studio in Germany. Hello,
Yes,
Justin.
Hello, thank you, Lucy. Yeah, and thank you, Commander, for your words and for taking the time to be with us. We're just going to finish off tonight with the last movement of the trio. It is called Finale.
Beautiful. Wonderful. Thank you so much. That was absolutely wonderful. Jessica Wielden is also saying, great job, everyone. So proud of you all. Thank you so much. It was truly wonderful.
Great. Thank you so much. Again, it's been really great to play for you tonight and talk with you. We have some other virtual events in collaboration coming up, don't we?
Absolutely. A little teaser up in April. We're going to be doing some exclusive virtual master classes with USAFE Band, where they'll be sharing their tips and tricks for vocalists. So please keep your eyes peeled and your ears open. We're going to be announcing quite soon on the America House resources. So absolutely join us.
Great. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, stay tuned to our social media sites for the details. And I just wanted to thank you so much at the America House, Lucy. You've been amazing.
Thank you.
And I just want to thank also the U.S. Embassy, Kyiv. And I also want to thank our panelists for joining in, our colleagues. Thank you so much, Master Sergeant Gouvier, Technical Sergeant Stanky, and Senior Airman Casano. And of course, the Commander, Lieutenant Colonel Morarutia. Thank you so much. So this has been a real pleasure for us. And if you have not already out there, please like us on our Facebook pages and follow us on Instagram. So Lucy, thank you again.
Thank you all so much, and absolutely do follow USAFE Band. I'm sure that in no time we'll be seeing them in Ukraine again, and it was such a pleasure to have all of you. Thank you so much, Justin, Da, and Sarah, for your beautiful music, and to all of our panelists for joining. It was truly a pleasure to have all of you here tonight.
Great, thank you so much. Have a pleasant evening.
Thank you all. Goodbye, and see you soon back at the America House virtual floor. Have a great evening, everyone. Bye.